Ladies and gentlemen, she's going to talk to us about the bridge between consciousness, business and the heart. Please welcome Tenille Bentley.
I asked my mum, had I always been in business? I always had this passion for business and I always wanted to get in. And I said to her, Mum, did I was I really, was it a natural thing that I had? And she goes, yeah, well, funnily enough, Tenille, at the age of 8, you walked into the kitchen one day and you declared to the household that you were going to be a businesswoman with your hands very sturdily on your hips. And I said, oh, okay. So, and I said, and then what did I do? And she goes, and then you proceeded to start your own business. You had an employee, you paid him 50 cents, and you took a cut off the top. So it was kind of one of those things that were naturally inbuilt into me. But by the age of about 23, I was in the sort of got to the top I could without a degree, and I ended up being in one of the biggest oil and gas companies. I'm from WA, so that's the town to do it. And I pretty much got to a point where I realised, what? I could totally do this business thing. I was watching all these people around the boardroom table yabbering on, and I was like, okay, well, we're not really getting to a point here. You're just talking. And I kind of looked at them all, and I'm like, you know what? I could give this thing a crack, this business thing a crack. And so off I went, and I decided not to do one. I was very extreme, even as a child. I had to do things in multiples. So I decided to start 3 businesses at once. Now, if any of you run one business, you know how hard that is. But I did three businesses, and then I ended up working full-time and not getting much sleep. Pretty much like 2-3 hours a night on average. Turned over $500,000 in the first few months. I was pretty much out of the business, out of my day job, and walked out of there and never really had a proper job since. Started a global charity that went around the world and helped more than 50,000 children in 5 different countries raise the awareness about domestic violence. So I found the silver lining in the journey that was gifted to me, that was to be what I was then to go on and gift on to other people. Now, often in business, there is this balance between the heart and head logic. We get so passionate about what we do that we actually forget to bring in the head logic. And I did this. I swung the pendulum both ways. So I went from running my charity full-time, doing that, hitting the ground running, and completely forgetting to look after the logical part of it. So I tripled the bank balance for my charity, sitting in a cafe one day, and I suddenly realised that the cup of tea I'm about to drink from, I can't afford. I was broke. That was a very true realisation of another step in the self-awareness journey that is running your own business. You're either going to sink or you're going to swim. And I was not going to sink, and so I hit the ground running, and in under 2 years I remember walking into this office. I set up this like Google-style warehouse because I was just employing way too many people, way too fast. And in 2.5 years, or in under 2 years, I built a $2.5 million company. I've sat in some of the biggest boardrooms in Australia, and I've said to them, why are you even doing what you're doing? Why do you even want to be in this space? What's your why? It might be connecting with customers, but go deeper. Yeah, it might be trying to generate sales, but go deeper. Why do you even get up in the morning? And when we start to think about that, that translates through into who it is we show up as in ourselves, as beings. How do you show up as in life? And the biggest question is, who are you when nobody is looking? What kind of person are you? Because that then translates into how you show up online. It's all interconnected. Yes, we can put on a facade and pretend that our life is rose-coloured glasses and everything's looking amazing on social media, but you know what? The only one we're lying to is ourselves. When we start to really ask those questions and begin the process of self-inquiry, that is where we begin to create a better human family. And then that teaches me to be mindful about what comes out of here and what comes out of here, because all of that is interconnected as well. This is really interesting that this is the kind of stuff we're looking for. This is the kind of stuff we're connecting to. Why? Because we're feeling the need for so much connection. And one of the cool things that I wrote in my book was around the self-worth barometer. What happens, right, when I'm on social media and I know that I'm looking, I call it the Facebook fridge. You stare at it and you're not hungry, right? You're just looking at it and you're like, why am I staring at this? Stop staring, stop flicking, stop staring, and you just keep going. You're just like, man, and it's in your head, you just can't stop. The Facebook fridge, right? when I'm staring at the Facebook fridge more than what I know that I normally do, from the self-worth barometer, that's telling me I am lacking some form of connection internally. There's a void that I'm trying to fill because I'm seeking outward validation to try and find connection. So what is that void? What's going on in here for me to feel the need to connect? Because this is kind of the psychological stuff that goes on behind why we post and all this kind of stuff. And when we start to become aware of it, it can actually really help us. I love this space, but I also know that there's a lot of education around this space that needs to happen. And I have actually launched the Emotional Literacy and Mindfulness Academy for kids, for 3 to 10-year-olds, to get into the blueprint of their mind, to start teaching them meditation, teaching them mindfulness, teaching them to unplug. Because if we can't get them to unplug, we're in a lot of trouble, because I've sort of seen the future of this space. And so we need to start monitoring that. And as adults, we have a duty of care to be able to then educate that onto our kids. So how are we showing up in the space? What are we posting and why are we posting it? Are we posting it because we're seeking that validation? Are we posting it because we want that extra like? And what does that say about where we're at right now? And that's okay, there's no right or wrong. It's just a noticing. Where am I at right now as a person, as a human being? And that's the danger, is we can get tricked into perceiving the need for connection on this space and staring at the Facebook fridge. But what's in reality is happening is the complete opposite. We're feeling so disconnected that we're seeking it from there. So it's been able to catch it and then go, oh, okay, I'm going to go meet a real human now and go and see someone face to face, because we still need that interaction. I think with the right balance, this space can do amazing things for our world, and it has. So, logical stuff. Are you just doing it for the money? Because in all reality, and I can say this from my own personal experience, you think you can have it all and you can make all the money in the world, but it doesn't buy you that moment of those belly laughs with the loved ones. It doesn't buy you that moment when you go and hug your child for after not seeing them all day. It can't buy you that stuff. So get clear on that.